Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Sympathy Kiss, about to start our new route, the secret route number 1. Ooh, I wonder. We already know it's Yofi. And listen, if plot-wise, Rokuro and Ryofi are somehow. Listen. The hack was coming from inside the house. That's my bet. Okay. We're going to find out how they know each other at any rate. So let's start. Use the same name, Yos. And especially because we have to go down Yoshioka's episode 1 in order to get into Yofi's route. So it seems, nope. Don't, Not playing the theme song, not getting copyright struck for that. Not doing it. Again, I keep thinking every single time we should just start here, but it's like we've set a precedent now that we start in the very beginning every time we start a new route, and we're not going to stop it. We're halfway through the game. I appreciate your concern. Literally, that's all we've ever said. Hi, Hotness. Hey, Liquor Daddy. It's probably old enough to be my actual dad. It's going to be awkward, but whatever. I will power through. I don't like huge age differences, but the man's still hot, so good morning. And our boss babe, you'd think he was older than he is, but he's really not. But sure. Okay. Oh. There's beige. I'm sorry. I keep thinking about it because it's like, okay, the only person more bland, than Yoshioka is Higa. Okay, Higa's like, why are you here? There better be something damn good in your route, is all I have to say, for how, you're not even, Nori is never around except for this little interaction, and he's still more interesting than Higa, is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Nori and Shuya are they're barely around, but they're still intriguing and pretty. And Higa's just the most backwards, boring I don't know. But after doing Yoshioka's route, again, we had fun. We want to work with Tempesty. That's this one, okay. It's just, we had fun in his route, don't get me wrong. And he had good spicy moments. But it's so, when I was, the other day, I was like, oh, I gotta record, and I was thinking that I had to record Yoshioka's route, and I was like, oh. And I was slightly fucking disappointed. And I was like, oh, right, we have to start a new route. And then I was like, well, okay, let me get a little bit more ahead in our other game, in the route that we're in, before I start this one. This one's really good to do during lunch, because the other one sometimes goes 10 to 20 minutes over. This one's usually we can wrap it up in an hour. But I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, right, we're done. And it's I don't know what it is. Yoshioka's route was just, in the moment when we're playing it, it's fine. We had fun. There was drama. But afterward, there was no impression left, and I just didn't want to record it. I would be like, oh, I gotta record his route, okay. No. I don't know. Why is that man so bland? It doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyway, here we go. We're going to check Yofi's email immediately, and then we're on to our new boyfriend. Concerned the email might be urgent, I opened it right away. I wonder what we're going to find out. My Super Eats order never showed up. Bring something if you come over, Roku. I blinked. What did that even mean? This message clearly wasn't meant for me. I quickly composed a reply to Yofi, letting him know that he seemed to have sent that email to the wrong person. And he's calling Rokuro Roku, their buddy. They know each other. You're correct. My apologies for failing to notice my mistake sooner. I don't know what voice to give him because we haven't seen him, so we're just going to read normal until we see him. It was the first time I'd seen a casual message from him like that, and it piqued my interest in him. Do we get to see what he looks like on his title card? Are we going to go into the Yofi title? Do we see? He's still hidden, but he's got blonde hair. See, I knew it. Okay. He's still hidden. He has no eyes either. You can't be an eyeless protagonist and have an eyeless boyfriend. That's not how these games work. Stop it. I hate that. A few days later. Oh, that's Kobase, isn't it? That's his color. Amasawa, do you have a moment? I got very confused with colors for a hot second. I jumped at the low voice and turned to see Director Kobase standing behind me. Actually, I have a favor to ask. I feel like Yofi could do with the soft boy voice because we don't know what he looks like, but he's a shut-in, right? And he's a hacker, so like that could work. It's one of the only other voices that we have, so... I'm sorry to ask this when I just approved your decision to act as an intermediary with Sympathy, but... I was wondering if you could be our liaison with Yofi instead. I involuntarily let out a small yelp, confused by this unexpected request. Yofi was our freelance programmer, to whom Astario occasionally outsourced various tasks. Okay, they probably said that in the beginning. And somebody probably mentioned it in Rokuro's route at some point, but, those comments haven't come up because I don't know how much of that's gone up yet. When I was like, it's weird because we go from working internally to working externally, but then we come back for Yofi, even though but he's freelance, he doesn't really work for Astario, we just outsourced to him. Okay, I'm sure they said that when they explained I think it was in Saltome's route when we were, the first time we technically didn't really meet Yofi, but we were introduced to the character. They probably mentioned that and it just went right the fuck over my head, but alright. My head tilted to the side. I couldn't guess why the director had chosen me. As Oe may have told you, the amount of work we send to Yofi has increased since we started the Astarcy Revival project. We'll need to communicate and work more closely with him than we would have in the past. And therein lies the problem. Up to now, section managers have reached out individually with their requests, but I think it's better to consolidate everything into a single channel of communication. You worked with Yofi a few times during your time in the design department, right? I figured you'd be the right person to ask. Besides, Oe should be able to handle Sympathy on her own. It was true I had sent a few emails to Yofi in the past, but they were simple messages regarding design. It wasn't like we knew each other much. Yeah, but what better way than finding, than going and banging your boyfriend, your true love's brother? Awesome. It's a brother route. It's a brother route. It counts. Someone else's brother, but whatever. I'll take it. You know what? I'd say we keep falling further down the degeneracy hole, but I don't think it could go any further than where we are. I really hope it doesn't, to be fair. I like where we are. Let's just stay here, okay? It's comfortable and a little fucked up, but it doesn't make me question myself too much. Listen, the game's introduced me to a hot brother that I wasn't allowed to bang, and then they gave me a couple that I was. And I'm okay with that. Only because in reality I don't have a brother, so it's not as weird. If I did, that'd be disgusting. Don't get me wrong. Gross. I don't live in Alabama or West Virginia. Okay? But, it's just... But still. So we just... Anyway. But it is kind of fucked up when you've gone down Yoshioka's route. I mean, I get it. Because they're tied together, and you kind of have to go down Yoshioka's route, for a little bit, before you can spin off into Yofi's route, but it is kind of fucked up if you think about it, because they set Yoshioka up to be it's the childhood love, you kind of, oh my god, he's the first crush that I ever had, and whatever, and the way they set that route up, and now knowing that, you're I'm just gonna go bang his brother, whatevs. But, I mean, she doesn't know it, but we do. And they think they do these things to fucking torture us a little bit. Because you're I mean, as much as, Yoshioka was I forgot who he was, and Saotome really won the MVP award in that route over our love interest, still feels weird that you're going to make me bang his brother when you were like, oh, he's been in love with you since you were like 9, you know? And like, and then he was your first crush. You forgot about him, but like, whatever! I guess we're supposed to take solace in that. She forgot about him and like, he won't realize. But now we also know he's gonna go down and marry Beto, who's the biggest motherfucking bitch. And he's gonna be miserable. And even if she thinks she's happy, like, yay, I got him, whatever, he doesn't love you. He doesn't even really like you that much. And your marriage is gonna be miserable. And I just, as much of a cunt as she was, still, like, she should want better for herself, you know? Like, and I mean, she at least at the end was like, you know what? I deserve better than this. Yeah, good for you. Get the fuck out of my face. She's not going to realize that until she's married to a man who doesn't like her. That's kind of fucked up. It's kind of fucked up. God damn it. I didn't want to be the person siding with that bitch, but like, you know what I mean? Like, when you take a step back, she deserves better than a man who doesn't give a fuck about her. And she should have more self-respect, and she's never going to figure that out. Oh, it's terrible. Anyway. Oh, don't look so worried. I am worried, though. I mean, not really about this route, because I don't want to go back to the Yoshioka route, to be fair. Like, the drama was great, but the man was bland. This hopefully will be a little more interesting. We like weird little shut-ins, I guess. It's just a matter of mediating between our team and Yuffie. And by our team, I mean Saltome and Minato. And just put together their requests and submit them to Yuffie. I'm sure there will be times when other departments need assistance as well, so just be flexible. When he described it to me that way, none of it sounded too difficult. If Oe was handling mediation with Tempesty on her own, that would leave me with plenty of time to do this job. Now, Minato not so much, but Saltome's requests can be a bit over the top. If his requests seem unclear, double-check before sending them to Yuffie. Rein that labradoodle in. If there's any confusion in the line of communication, there'd be no point in putting you as the point of contact. And Saltome's always restless and wandering off, so if he's not at his desk, you can come find me. He's always wandering off because he's not a well-trained labradoodle. I mean, seriously, like, sit! He has not learned how to sit. He'll like sit for 2 seconds, you take your eyes off him, and he's gone, and you're like, I mean, he sat for half a second, so we give him a treat for that, right? Yeah, we do, because he's adorable. This is why the labradoodle's never going to learn. But again, he's a good guard labradoodle. So we'll give him that. He deserves all the treats and the pets for that. And just let me know if anything's unclear. When I nodded, the director's face relaxed. Got it? Thanks. I still miss you, you bastard. Alright, come and talk to me anytime. I'm counting on you. I really would love to come and talk to you, but I gotta date someone else again. Now officially tasked with communicating with Yuffie, I had no choice but to do my best. I opened up my email and began writing a message to Yuffie. I wrote each sentence carefully to ensure there wasn't even a hint of rudeness. We'd communicated before, so I started with a simple greeting and thanked him again for the work he'd done for us. Then I explained my new role and invited him to come to the office so he could meet face-to-face and be properly introduced. He never leaves his house. I checked and rechecked, but the contents of the rechecked the contents of the message before finally sending it. Just as I was about to close the email program, a reply immediately popped up on the screen. No. Noted. Thank you for your message. Unfortunately, I won't be able to visit your office. Thank you for understanding. I was a little taken aback by his blunt refusal to meet me in person. I realized that not only had I never met Yuffie, but I didn't know of anyone in the company that had met him either. Normally a programmer, even an outside contractor, would attend meetings to get to know everybody, but no, some of us just prefer to, please don't make me talk to people. I reorganized my thoughts and sent Yuffie another email. I wish I was half as smart as Yuffie so that I could just be like, I just do it and don't talk to me and I don't have to figure shit out, you know? I ain't that smart though. I asked him if it would be possible to meet remotely if he was unable to meet in person. My apologies. Unfortunately, I'm unable to participate in remote meetings. That said, I'm available by email or chat at any time. Though his replies were polite, he clearly had no intention of ever meeting with me. I sighed. It seemed that Yofi was even more peculiar than I initially thought. I hope you run into him by accident out and then she's like, oh, I just met this strange guy, whatever, and has no idea it's Yofi. Do we ever get to meet him and see his actual sprite before, the end of his route? Because, it's gonna be fucking weird. That's all I'm saying, okay? With some work finished, I stepped into the hallway for a break to find Saltame, Minato, and Oe in a group chatting. Hey, Amasawa! Good work today! Evening.
What's wrong? You don't look so good.
It seemed Oe was able to see the worry on my face.
It's about Yofi. Yeah, I heard you were going to be the point of contact with him from now on. I don't think you need to worry too much about him.
Yeah, he's kind of famous in the company for being a weirdo. Yeah. That's what I strive for. Apparently nobody in the company aside from the president has ever heard his voice, let alone seen his face. It was a relief to hear that I wasn't the only one who got rejected. On the other hand, I was surprised by how little information people knew about him. I had a few interactions with the guy at my last job. He always told me to email him or use chat, never agreed to meet. Also, the way he writes is just so freaking polite. He comes across as cold. You could learn to be a bit more polite in your writing. But if he's good at his job, is not meeting him face to face really that much of an issue? Despite Minato's logical explanation, I felt it was critical to meet Yofi properly if we wanted to work well together. Additionally, I wanted to make sure our communications were as clear as possible, which is difficult with text only. That's valid. Texting only and communication via email and stuff like that is very difficult because you can't hear tone of voice. And sometimes you're like, what the fuck? But then when you talk to the person, you're like, oh, they're not the big asshole their message sounds like. You know what I mean? Because you just never know. Or you read something and you're like, okay. And then you realize when you talk to that person, they're a big fat fucking asshole. And you're like, oh, no, you really are a condescending twat. So it's really hard, you know? But I don't think Yofi gives a fuck if you're an asshole or you're really kind. He's like, you just give me the task list. I'm going to check all the boxes and then we're done. So. I wanted to be an effective point of contact for Director Kawase and the others, but now I wasn't sure how to do that.
Well, who knows? Spacey, maybe your enthusiasm will open Yofi's heart.
Well, she just ruined the whole route for us. Now we know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, essentially.
Maybe you should stick with it.
Yeah, but honestly, I wouldn't get your hopes up too much. And then there's Saotome always being a Debbie Downer. I don't know, fucking Yoshioka, I bet he's a man whore. You better watch out for that guy. No, he was an actual fucking prince. Boring, but still a prince. His girlfriend was the bitch that we wanted to push out the window. But you know what I mean? But Saotome's always just warning you about everybody. Simmer down, Labradoodle. Oh, look, something shiny. He's off in the corner. It's fine. I think you're just wasting your time worrying about all that. With that, the three of them returned to their desks. After taking a short break on my own, I returned to my computer. After Oe's encouragement, I decided to shoot Yofi another email. Sup, Broheim? Just throw something weird out there. Hey, oh my god, what are you doing? What are you wearing? Are you thinking about me? Maybe not this early. I typically received a reply from him almost instantaneously, but his response this time took a while. After what felt like hours, I finally got a reply back from Yofi. It's only been 12 minutes. Understood. I can accommodate a call, provided it doesn't include video. He also wrote that my persistence wore him down. Though I felt a twinge of guilt for being selfish, I was satisfied we were moving in the right direction. He's like, I'll talk to you on the phone, but not a oh, that's kind of funny, though. But then at least you get to hear his voice. Which, to be fair, I mean, you're going to pay a voice actor to be Yofi, you should actually get to hear him speak. You know? I hurried to prepare the necessary materials for my remote meeting with Yofi. As I did so, I felt my anticipation grow with each passing minute. I wonder, because obviously we don't play with voice acting on, because, you know, that's usually a big point of contention, but, like, what I'm assuming until you actually get on the phone with him, they don't have like his VA reading the text lines. Like, so when you get the email, if you're playing this with voice acting on, you're just reading text. You know what I mean? And then when you get on the call, that'll be the first time you actually hear him. Who is his VA? We usually don't look till like the end, but oh, Soma Saito. He's in a lot of shit. Seriously, wait a minute. Isn't he yeah, he's in Winter's Wish as well. He has been in literally he's just getting around, ain't he? Jesus. Huh. Interesting. But then came the day of our meeting. Yofi had no intention of showing his face, but I could still show mine. I checked my appearance in the mirror many times. Oh, I love the fact that, like, he's like, no video call, but you're like, okay, so you could have just gotten on a regular call, but she's going to get on a video call with him, and he's just going to be a shadow. That's interesting, because, like, it'd be one thing if you get on a voice call and then you're talking, and they're like, oh, no, I like talking to you, whatever, but, like, we're going to get is he going to be like, wow, she's so pretty? Is he going to be, like, blown away by how beautiful and eyeless we are? You know what I mean? It makes you feel like that's what they're going to set up. He's going to be like, no, is that first time on that video call? If you hadn't made me be on that video call, I never would have thought twice about you. But, like, hearing your voice and seeing your beautiful face. Because, like, that happens. I find it adorable and fun if that's what they're going to go with. But it also makes me eye roll a little. Because you're like, yeah, okay, that's bullshit. Why am I a little bitter right now? Playing this game and I'm like, yeah, okay. We play Otome games. 98% of what happens is like, yeah, okay, that would happen in real life. But it never comes out. You know what I mean? You're like, I am fully in the Delulu fantasy that this is giving me. This time I'm like, yeah, okay. I never said I was logical. And yet, at the appointed time of our call, I nervously pressed the call button. The call appeared connected, but there was no sound on the other side. I coughed nervously and turned up my mic volume. Then an angry voice spat out at me. Oh. You're so loud, I can hear you fine. My body tensed from the rough way he spoke. So different from his emails. I'm really curious how he did this voice. Sure enough, just as he said before, his camera was turned off. He also seemed to have put some kind of voice processor on his side. Oh, that's even funnier! Like, he's not even, like, letting us hear his actual voice. Why is he being so secretive? What? I was speechless from bewilderment, but quickly introduced myself and thanked him for meeting with me today. You're like, why do you have a voice processor on? I understand if you don't want a camera, but, like, sir? After a while, a small and different voice came back to me from the other side. Well, whatever. Despite the voice modulator, Yofi's apathy still carried over. Oh, I love this. I told him that from a business perspective, I knew email and chats were better for record keeping, but I thought it might be easier to communicate after getting to know him as a person. So, what did you want to discuss? At his urging, I promptly shared my screen to show him the documents I had prepared, and then explained the upcoming projects we'd be working on. Yeah, I got it. I looked at some of the source code and it's not very well written. As soon as we finish here, I'll do some system rewrites. Can I email you the details later? When it came to work, his voice sounded more serious and assured. I nodded my head and then Yofi sighed deliberately. So if I'm just going to email you the text later, what was the point of having this call again? Seems like a giant waste of time to me. Perhaps it was the voice modulator on his side, but his tone sounded terribly cold. he's going to have the same attitude that Minato has, so they're going to start sounding alike. So, whatever, just deal with it. Unable to respond, I floundered with a vague answer before he changed the topic. So, is there anything else? I brought up the new fashion column that we wanted to promote. We had previously sent him the specifications to review, so I asked now for his opinion. Yofi groaned. Ugh. Aren't the current specs pretty overcomplicated? They wanted to have a bunch of options, but I thought it was stupid. His sharp reply left me speechless. I tried not to let my shock show on my face. But I knew I couldn't back down. I gulped and tried to explain the details of the meeting I had with the project lead. The site needed to provide a wide range of options to attract new users and drive engagement. Well, alright. I guess that makes sense. I was relieved knowing that I explained it better in a meeting than I could have in an email. I thanked him repeatedly and bowed deeply. Despite his video being off, I had a feeling that he smiled. That's a bit much. Feeling the tension lift slightly, I asked him if he would show me his face. No. Rejected, I couldn't help but chuckle. You're like, can I actually hear your real voice without the voice modulator? Overall, the meeting with Yofi went well and ended on a good note. Despite my nervousness about it, he generally seemed like a good person. We both expressed our sincere desire to continue working together. A few days after my meeting with Yofi, I was walking down the hallway when I heard the company president in a conference room. Oh my god, Yofi's here in person. We're gonna bump into him and he's gonna be like, nothing. Sorry for making you come out here. You should be. And if you actually are, you'll call me next time. Oh, don't be like that. It's good to see you every once in a while. You're looking well. Whatever, old man. I wondered who could possibly be speaking to the president like that without fear of repercussions. Well, I'm just happy to continue our partnership. You can mail us your documents moving forward. Got it. A gasp escaped me when I realized I had heard that voice before. How? He had voice modulation! But I feel like it's the attitude. It's not the voice, it's the attitude. You're like, I have heard the sass before. Could it really be? I can't wait. As I debated the possibility, the conference room door swung open and someone emerged. He's got a mask on! Of course he does. Game is like, fuck you, you really can't. You gotta piece it together like a puzzle. Oh, you gotta be fucking with me. That's so funny. Oh my lord. You know what? Do you actually even have the same color eyes that, Hold on. No, I think he had blue eyes. Our other boyfriend. Yofi looks like he's got kind of green eyes here. I can't really tell. It's hard to see, and I can't really lean forward to, like, stare at my TV screen because the bird is comfortable and I don't want to, like, agitate him. But I was looking at the pictures on, the main guide page because I was thinking of Yoshioka, but his eyes are blue. Okay. And Yofi's kind of seem green from this angle and like where we are, so I don't know. Ugh. Out came a man wearing a large hoodie with a black mask covering his face. I fucking love that the game is like, you don't get to see him in his title cards. You don't even get to see his sprite. The game is really like, fuck you. The game has become Yofi at this point. It's a little too on brand. And the look on his face told me he knew exactly who I was. Yeah, no, he's got green eyes. Okay, those are definitely olivey green. Without thinking, I pulled a heart on his sleeve as he tried to slip away from me unnoticed. Then, just as I was about to call out his name, two other employees came strolling down the hallway. Rolling his eyes with frustration, the man grabbed my arm and, oh, did we get our first CG with him? He pulled me around the closest corner and held me there. His hand clasped over my mouth so I couldn't speak. We do, and he's like holding us to him. Okay, but we're going to get a CG and half his face is going to be covered. So, like, you know, it's still not a bad CG, though. They drew his eyes really pretty. Shh! Don't speak. Don't even move. Just stay like this for a minute. Look, just stay still. I'm not gonna hurt you. We're just gonna stay here until they're gone, got it? I nervously wriggled with how close he was, but he got upset about that too. I resigned to wait quietly in his arms for the other employees to walk away. I'm sure he'll eventually take his mask off. There's no way he's gonna stay like this the whole fucking time. They're finally gone. This is probably the sprite that I've seen of him. Because I remember the blonde hair, but I don't remember the mask, but you know what? I don't remember what his face looked like, so, like, probably. This is probably what I've seen before. Unless later we see him without them, maybe I'll and be like, oh, no, this was it. But so I'm guessing this is probably what I've seen, is this, or a image or something with him like this, like with the mask and everything on, and it's just the hair I remember. You know what I mean? Did I read that? Anyway, they're finally gone. Once the coast was clear, he let go of me. I finally was able to ask if he was who I suspected, and he sighed in surrender. I guess it's no use pretending otherwise anymore. Let's go somewhere else. You never know when someone's gonna walk through here again. It was still early, but we decided to stop by a nearby cafe for lunch. Probably Yofi. Probably Yofi! We're like, are you who I think you are? And he's like, I guess. We didn't say, like, so you're Yofi. And he was like, yes, so now we're just probably Yofi. Probably dash Yofi. He's probably Yofi. That's his name. So fucking funny. Oh, it's cute. I like it. Probably Yofi opened his menu as soon as we were seated. Then he turned to me and pointed at some pictures on the menu. This one and this one. Oh, and that one too. Spaghetti fries and French onion soup. That is a combination. His somewhat childish selections and brash attitude didn't match up. I just nodded. Hey, come on. Hurry up and pick. I'm hungry. He called the waiter and ordered our food without exchanging pleasantries with the staff. As the waiter left, the man shifted in his seat, looking uncomfortable. He began to introduce himself. Does he give us his real name? As you guessed, I'm Yofi. Now we have a terminology. A young freelance programmer. He's a top-tier programmer, but he doesn't like interacting with others. That is the whole reason you go into software design and engineering and all that shit, is so that you can be in the back office not talking to fucking people. That is like literally like, and yet they still make you talk to people, and you're like, no. No. I don't wanna. I just want to sit in a corner and just, and with Cheeto dust all over me. What the fuck part of that do you not get? What the hell? Why I gotta be personable and talk to people? Jesus. Man. So how'd you know it was me? I thought I used voice processing on our call. I told him that it was just a guess, but it was based on the way he spoke. See, okay, it wasn't the voice. That's what I thought. I was like, you couldn't have heard his voice. I'm like, it's probably his attitude. Yeah, exactly. Yofi raised his eyebrows. What? I don't believe you. Ugh, talking to you makes my head hurt. Oh, you're gonna be that sassy little bastard who just has an attitude and you're grumpy and bitchy the whole time? Sir, I'm gonna need you to put some glasses on with that attitude, though. I asked him what he was doing at Astario in the first place. He was obviously stubborn when it came to meeting people. I had to come in for some dumb contract negotiations with your CEO. That old geezer was insistent that I show. We only see each other in situations like this. I don't like people, so outside of work I avoid them when I can. Today I planned to get out of there before people started taking their lunch breaks and walking around. This is the first time I've ever had a real conversation with another Astario employee. The thing is like, even if you just left, people would be like, who the fuck is that weirdo? They probably wouldn't assume you were Yofi if they even know who you are. You know what I mean? I guess, but it's for him, it's not like, oh, people are going to know who I am or ask. Somebody might be like, oh, hey, are you new here? People might start up a conversation, or just people being around him is like, don't get near me, don't touch me. You know what I mean? Valid, I understand. It would have been annoying to be interrogated by you there, so I had no choice but to come here with you. Yofi mumbled more complaints, his head sinking into his hands. It was stupid of me to agree to your remote meeting in the first place. You started out saying you wanted an in-person meeting. I had no choice but to at least do a remote meeting. Despite his claims of being antisocial, I couldn't take my eyes off him. His bleached hair, his flashy clothes, the hood and mask made it difficult to see his face, but I guessed he was younger than me. Perhaps noticing my gaze, Yofi lifted his head back up and glared at me. It's funny, his bleached hair, but it's like, but Yoshioka, if he's supposed to have bleached hair, like, he was naturally blonde at least, so like, you know, but I was assuming when he talked about his brother, they were full siblings. Not like half siblings, but like, why would you have bleached hair and Yoshioka doesn't? I'm still on that train until they tell me otherwise, because like, how else did you hack and get him free, yo? You know what I mean? And the fact that we can only get into Yofi's route by starting into Yoshioka's route, I'm just saying it's sus, so. Hey, don't stare at me. It's annoying. If you want to say something, say it. I figured it would hurt to be honest. It wouldn't hurt to be honest. You're not what I pictured. It's nice to meet you. I have a few work questions. I'm excited for our future. I'm excited for our future. I mean, that's like really her being like, I know we're going to end up together because this is an Otome game and we're on the good path. And we have a guide that tells me how to get there. But I feel like that's a little too much to start. I'm like, you're not what I pictured is kind of probably a good one. Well, it's nice to meet you is also good. I have a few work questions as like a work answer, and I don't want to start with that. You know what I mean? I personally would have chosen like, you're not what I pictured. Because that's what she's looking at him, and it's like, you're not what I pictured, or it's nice to meet you would also be good. I have a few work questions. Jesus Christ, sometimes the choices in this are dumb as fuck. Like, I mean, I get it, we're doing the balance, so you gotta do, like, the work-love balance, but this is still, like... I mean, like... I guess it's a way to more endear yourself with Yofi instead of being like, let's be personal, because he's like, I don't like people, I don't like talking to people, and you're like, let's talk about work then. Because then you can just forget that we're here on a personal, having lunch together. But that's not what she was thinking. So like when she's like, oh, it wouldn't hurt to be honest here. Hey, I have some work questions. That was totally not what you were definitely were thinking. You are not what I pictured. But sure. Seriously? Just email me about it later. Yofi dismissed my question harshly with an incredulous frown. How can you tell? He's got a mask on. I looked away, realizing he was right. Ugh. You were seriously dedicated, huh? Your emails are always so polite, but your bug reports are so detailed. As I continued to apologize profusely, Yofi merely muttered to himself. Not that I care. Not that I care. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you do. As we chatted away, our food eventually arrived at the table. Thank you for waiting. Is there anything else I can get you? If not, please enjoy. Yofi watched the clerk until they were out of sight before removing his mask. We get to see his full face now. I want to be like, yeah, he totally looked, I don't know. I think like the way the sprites are drawn, they all just kind of have a similar appearance. You know what I mean? Yeah, he might be younger than us, so he does have the baby face. So not my favorite, but he's still not bad looking. He's kind of pretty, so we can deal with this. We can deal. Look at his little punk teenagerness. Like, we're in our 20s. He's probably like 21 or 22, but still. Anyway, he had a well-defined nose. His lips were full and pink. His jawline was sharp, too. I mean, he's like the pretty punk boy. You know what I mean? Like, look at him. Like, what? The pasta has green peppers in it. Ugh. Why didn't I see that in the picture? Looking like a little kid, he pushed the green peppers one by one to the side of his plate. I told you before not to stare. Or better yet, eat your food. It's gonna get cold. Yofi scolded me again, and he silently ate his lunch. I quickly apologized and reached for my utensils. I decided to concentrate only on my food for the time being and ate silently. After both of us finished eating, I looked down at my watch to see there was still a lot of time left on my lunch break. So I took a chance and nervously asked Yofi if he could answer a few questions. He scoffed. I might not answer them, but sure, go ahead. I was getting used to his particular way of speaking. It's kind of funny because, like, he's got more of a, it's not like he's shy and awkward, like, I don't like being around people and I'm shy. You know, for the fact that, like, I'm still going on the, like, if he really is Yoshioka's brother, right? You could understand him, like, I don't like people and everything because I spend so much time in hospitals and I just, like, too much people, I just want to be left alone. Like, an overabundance, but it's like, you're overcompensating in a way. Like, spent too much time in hospitals with doctors and things like that, that one, you wouldn't want to go to the doctor ever. But also people overload. You're like, so now if people like look at me or talk to me, it's like a flashback to like doctors and nurses and all these people fawning over you and everything. And you're like, holy shit. Like, you know? So it's like a weird association. Like you could kind of understand that. But it's funny because you think that like he would have been like a little more shy and awkward as opposed to attitude awkward. You know what I mean? But maybe the attitude is just like a front. I don't know. Like, I'm still going with it, okay? Because again, how else were you hacking him free? Like, I don't know. There's some kind of tie going on, and that's what makes sense to me. Because you're obviously somehow, there's some kind of relationship with you and Yoshioka. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. Like, you couldn't have been childhood friends because he didn't have any and we were the only one, and then that would be weird too. And you're younger than I am, so, like, how would you guys have met, but you being his younger brother, that was always makes sense. Because you're definitely tied in, and, like, based on the guide saying, like, for plot reasons, do his route next, they kind of, like, and, again, you have to go through Yoshioka in order to get to Yofi. Like, you have to go through, like, the first couple of choices in his route before you jump off. It makes more sense than anything else that I can think of. You know what I mean? So, Undeterred, I asked him what was on my mind. My real name? Then, Yofi McYoferson. What, no good? I already told you I wasn't necessarily going to answer your questions. There wasn't much I could say in response to that, so I changed tactics and asked him his age. I'm 28. It's a lot of bullshit. I'd assumed he was younger than me, so my voice raised in shock as I asked him again. What, you got a problem with that? I feel like you're not, because then Yoshioka is definitely not that much older than us. Our boss is. Well, you know what? Well, actually, did they even say how old Yoshioka was? But he wasn't... No, there's no way. He's lying. But I could believe that he's older than we think. If we're like, oh, he seems younger than us because he grew up sick and frail and, like, so stunted your growth a little bit, so you just look younger. You know what I mean? Or more petite, smaller. You know what I mean? But I don't think Yoshioka was like fucking 30. We never looked at that, did we? Did they ever have any? Do they have things in here where they tell you? Did I skip it when we did Yoshioka? I don't think they had them in here. I thought when we went down that we at least knew that Boss Babe was like 28. So, like, I'm not believing that about you. You know? I'm not lying. People always say I look young for my age. I still couldn't believe he was that old, but I let it go and asked him about his hobbies. Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't know if I believe that necessarily, because, like... My hobbies? What is this, some kind of blind date? Maybe it was a bit odd to be asking him all these questions, but I was genuinely curious. I gave up and apologized for prying. He huffed and glanced over to the side, which revealed a bit of pasta sauce on his cheek. Sauce? Here? Where? Oh, I read that backwards, but that's okay. Seeing him struggle to wipe his cheek with his hoodie sleeve, an instinct to help him overcame me. Wipe with a napkin, wipe with fingers. I feel like a napkin would be better than your fingers. What are you gonna do? Lick the pasta sauce off your fingers when you're done? We're not that deep. God. Please tell me it's a napkin. It's wipe with fingers! Oh, dear Lord! Although, that's skin-to-skin contact, so it's gonna, like, be some kind of electrical thing or something. I don't know. You know, oh my god. Okay, this is so embarrassing. This whole route is just weird. What? When I tried to wipe the sauce from his face, he gasped and recoiled. What are you doing? What the hell? Look how he blushes neon red, too. Don't treat me like I'm a kid just because you're older than me. I was about to apologize, but realized something and scoffed bitterly instead. See, he lied. I told you there was no way he was 28, okay. He said I was older than him, which meant he lied about his age after all. Duh, I'm 19. I was beginning to feel exhausted by Yofi. I mean, I feel like he is going to be the problem. Like, there's always, like, a problem, a problematic person, some kind of drama. I feel like Yofi's going to be his own problematic person in his route. We don't need any other drama. I'm only a few years younger than you. Don't make a big deal out of it. Besides, that's not the point here. He cut me off before I could respond, glaring fiercely at me. What kind of person does that to a guy she's never met before? I mean, are you stupid or something? You've heard of sexual harassment, right? Perhaps I had gone overboard. I think his face probably wasn't appropriate. No kidding. Now stop apologizing so much. And I guess I shouldn't have tried to wipe it away with my sleeve. Pretending to be struck by an idea, he smiled and looked down at his plate of pasta. Tell you what, I'll give you a little present for trying to help me out. He spooned a green pepper he had been avoiding onto my plate. You know, you look like the type of woman who likes green peppers. What's wrong with green peppers? Peppers are good, all of them. What did he mean by that? I wasn't sure how to respond, if I even wanted to. Yofi was looking at me with a wicked grin. Yeah, he seems like he's being a little bit of a douche right now. I bet you like bitter vegetables, don't you? You're a bitter vegetable, so I guess the answer to that is probably yes, then. You like bitter vegetables, don't you? You're a bitter vegetable! Like, I really wish she would snap back with that, because it'd be really funny, because he'd be like, so what are you saying, you like me? Maybe? Shut up! No? Yes? Your route's gonna be interesting. Again, you're not gonna be my favorite, because you got the little baby face. But, like, you know, it's not too bad. But, you know, still, but your attitude is interesting, so, you know. Kind of like the sassy bitches sometimes. You're gonna be a little more exciting than what I still think is your brother, who's bland as fuck, but I thought about it and I, like, hell yeah, that's why we're gonna fall in love with you. No, she's upset about it. I cannot win. Spacey would fail dating us. See, I told you, not my type. I can't figure out how to date this man. I shook my head, which made Yofi happy enough to let out a small laugh. See, you're still a kid too. But seriously, green peppers, spinach, broccoli. What's the point of eating all that crap? They're good? When did I become this person? Like, spinach is good and stuff. Broccoli's fine. Broccoli's not my favorite. I like raw broccoli and, like, sometimes cooked in, but it's, like, I don't like big chunks of cooked broccoli. But, like, if it's smaller mixed into stuff, it's usually fine, you know? And, like, green pepper, I mean, okay, red, yellow, orange peppers are better. I like the sweeter peppers better. But, like, green peppers, again, mixed into shit is totally fine. You know? And if you had sliced up peppers on a tray with, like, hummus or something or, like, a dip, yeah. I don't give a fuck if they're green, orange, yellow, whatever. Green ones are fine. I don't know. I grew up at some point. Only recently, I feel like, but I shrugged in response to his question. Still, I felt guilty for leaving food on the plate. So I scooped up the green peppers and took a bite. The bitter flavor spread through my mouth on impact, and I grimaced. Give it back. Yofi then reached out and grabbed the entire plate. When I tilted my head curious, he snidely mumbled, "You're annoying. Just felt like I wanted to eat them now, that's all." Oh, you're embarrassed because he's like, see, you're a kid too. And we're like, I'm going to eat these. And now you just feel like an ass. Even so, Yofi looked pretty uncomfortable. I guess that meant that he cared in his own way. I suggested that the two of us split the remaining peppers, or you don't have to eat them. Split them? Fine, if that's what you want, sure. I placed half of the remaining peppers back on his plate, and the two of us ate the rest together. It would have been so much better to eat them mixed in with your spaghetti if you don't like them, because, you know what I mean, as opposed to just eating them straight. Yofi chewed silently for a while, then... Ugh, I can't. These things are terrible. I feel that way about green beans, though. I don't like green beans. It mixed in anything, I'd be the same way. So, it's okay to not like certain vegetables, but, I don't get the green pepper slander. They're fine. Okay? Green beans? Gross. Celery? Disgusting. He quickly reached his limit, grabbed a glass from the table, and downed it in one gulp. As he placed his glass back down, our eyes met. And this is where we fell in love. Then he started laughing. That's hysterical. I was confused as Yofi leaned forward and extended his hand toward me. Do I have pasta sauce on my face now? This is payback. I closed my eyes and felt a soft touch on the edge of my lips. You say it's payback, but apparently it's a sexy little moment. I opened my eyes to see Yofi licking pasta sauce from his fingertips. Okay, all right. Listen, when she was gonna go do it, I'm like, what are you gonna do? Lick the pasta sauce off your fingers? We're not there yet. And then that's exactly what he just did. Guys, I'm gonna need a minute. What the fuck? Let me get that pasta sauce off and then lick it. That is a sexy move. We are not there. What is happening? Bird, what is happening? Bird, what is happening? Oh my god. I realized he had wiped the sauce from my face with his fingers and then licked it. What's with that stupid look? Why don't you get yourself sorted out before criticizing others? He was right, of course, and I couldn't find a thing to say. Ugh. My mouth is still bitter from those vegetables. I think I need a dessert to get this taste out of my mouth. I'll have the chocolate parfait. Go on, order. As I called the waiter to the table, I glanced over at Yofi. Even though our time together was short, I felt I had learned a lot about him. I felt closer to him now that I'd heard his voice and seen his face, and I felt my cheeks relax into a smile. Paid the bill and we left the restaurant. Later. I said goodbye to him and was about to head back to the office when suddenly a fuzzy brown blur came out of nowhere and leapt at Yofi. Whoa! A medium-sized dog now towered over Yofi, its tail wagging furiously. Since the dog was dragging a leash, I knew the owner must be somewhere nearby. Hey, stop that. The dog seemed to like Yofi and licked his face with gusto. Cut it out. That tickles. Hey, what am I supposed to do here? Don't just stand there. Help. I was too stunned to move when he asked for help. The first thing to do was to get some space between them, so I reached out to the dog. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry! The owner of the dog came rushing up from behind us. Are you alright? Did you get hurt or... I'm fine. The owner was obviously concerned, but Yofi only gave a curt reply as he readjusted his mask. I really am sorry. Now, if you'll excuse me. The owner apologized a few more times before walking away. Ugh, finally gone. I asked him if he didn't like dogs. He gave a non-committal shrug and watched the dog and its owner as they left. It's not that I don't like them. It's just, I never really had contact with them. When I was a kid, I got sick a lot. My parents sheltered me because I could have had an asthma attack. I got sick a lot right there. I'm sorry. Sold. Sold! Sold. There was nothing this game can do to convince me otherwise. When I was a kid, I got sick a lot. Yep, you're his brother. That's it. Done. So I always try to avoid dealing with animals if I don't have to. I haven't really had opportunities to interact with them, you know? Once again, I found myself learning about Yofi in unexpected ways.
You wanted me to pet you, and then you bit me. It was very mean.
You know what? I'm not going to interact with animals anymore either. And then he's like, you will pet me, bitch.
You're very mean.
Although Ow!
That was very sharp, and that was very mean. You were not nice at all. That hurt a lot. I don't like your attitude right now, Mr. Neelix. No more petties. No. Don't even look at me.
Still looking at me. Although he spoke so matter-of-factly, the mention of him possibly having an asthma attack worried me. He was a long time ago. I'm well enough to live a normal life now. Speaking of which, are you okay on time? I looked down at my watch to find the end of my lunch break was swiftly approaching. I thanked him once more before returning to the office. Perfect. We're a little under time, but that'll be good enough. So, anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.